Hello there, it's me, William Regal. I'm just sitting here with a cup of tea watching NXT UK. What a great show.
You're listening to the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show. Listener discretion is advised at all times.
Hello and thank you once again for downloading and listening to another episode of the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show, part of the Social Suplex podcast network. I'm joined by, well, my name's Clive. I'm joined by Ricky. How are you tonight, Ricky?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Yourself?
Good, thanks. It was very nice of William Regal to let us know that he was watching NXT with a nice cup of tea, wasn't it?
It certainly was. Hopefully he drops by for more cups of tea with us in the future.
Do you think what do you think he takes in his tea? 2 sugars and milk, or is he an Earl Grey guy?
Definitely Earl Grey, definitely.
Oh, aye, definitely. To settle his stomach after all the fish and chips he'll be eating watching a UK show. So, as you may have guessed from our Twitter earlier and the introduction to this week's show, we are going to give you an instant review of NXT UK's debut episode, which aired on the network at 8 o'clock British Standard Time, a rare opportunity for UK fans to just sit down after work, after dinner, put the kids to bed and just sit and watch some wrestling as it airs on the network. Before we get into that though, Ricky, just like one suspicious archaeologist said to the other, I have a bone to pick with you.
Okay.
Let me see what that tweet said. You said in a tweet, we'll be covering NXT UK for the first time and all the time.
Oh, did I say all the time?
Uh-huh.
It clearly makes no sense. No, I didn't. I said we will be doing a review of NXT UK on the podcast tonight, and we'll be doing so from now on. Download and listen, folks.
So you're expecting us to have Wednesdays are already stressful for me, and you're wanting us to sit down ready to watch NXT UK at 2000 hours and then sit and record at back of 9 every week?
I mean, you don't need to sit and watch it. I will. I know you go through a lot of stress because you finish late on a Wednesday, so it's a mad rush to get home and get everything done. But for me, I'm normally home by 5:30. And then the kids will be in bed by 7:45, just in time for me to sit up and put my feet up. So for the first 30 minutes of the show, or 45, or however long it takes, people can just listen to my beautiful voice while you just sit in the background.
And you'll hear, oh, what a great move that was.
Yep.
That's my wrestling fan voice. I go all posh and go, that was a great suplex.
It sounded very West End posh.
Yeah. Yes, quite a T-bone there from Mr. Dunn, wouldn't you say? So, obviously, let's start reviewing it then, shall we?
Well, first thing, before we get started, I think the great thing is that it was 8 o'clock our time.
Uh-huh.
We weren't staying up till like 1 o'clock or whatever to start watching it. And I like that, and it's a show that they've created for us, for no one else. We are, the UK fans, the target audience for this. And like I say, in the fact that they gave it us on prime time, or for us over here, it makes me quite happy, and it shows that they actually do kind of care about the fans. They understand just how much of a following they've got over here. That, like I say, a lot of other people will sit and watch it, but the core fan base and, like I said, the target audience is clearly us over here. So, like I said, very happy that we got the first ever WWE promotion over here.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm hoping that going forward that we don't just kind of see it as take a back seat to actually NXT itself, and I'm hoping that maybe we could get like a very own takeovers as well over here. like NXT UK takeovers. I know that probably will be a while away, maybe, not sure, but I'm hoping that they do go down that route and they do start to give us takeovers. And the other thing we could get is, like, for instance, like with War Games, we could always have like an NXT versus an NXT UK kind of match, etc. So I'm hoping that, like I said, the possibilities or where this thing can go is huge, and what they can do with it is could be really, really big. And I'm hoping that they do sort of kind of go all in with it and treat it like a big deal, because for us over here it is a massive deal that they've done this.
Oh, aye, definitely. What you were saying there about takeovers, something like that would be great in the future. Even see for us, if they had tapings in Glasgow or Edinburgh or Aberdeen. Well, Aberdeen might be a bit of a stretch as far as travel's concerned, but we'll definitely try and make either Glasgow or Edinburgh if they had tapings at a
definitely. Because the tapings for tonight were down in Cambridge.
Yes.
They'd just done Plymouth at the weekend there, I think it was, wasn't it?
Aye.
So, like I say, it seems like we're definitely moving around. I'm hoping they don't just kind of stay down the south of England and they start to come up further north, obviously north of the border, hopefully. I think they will.
You were saying that... on you go. You go first.
No, and like I say, the great thing is, like, for a lot of the wrestlers that we like, that we've saw, or promotions over here that we like ICW, Progress as well, a lot of people will get to see the people that we've seen and people that we like wrestling. Because like I say, and the good thing is, like I say, you've got the WWE coming over here now, and there could be like a partnership of some sort with. Well, I don't know, they kind of got something for ICW, but not entirely sure. But then you've got things like Lucha Forever, you get Pro Wrestling Eve, you've got Progress. Progress is arguably the biggest over here. For people who don't know, like, Progress previous champions have been Marty Scurll, Mark Andrews, who was actually on NXT tonight, Jimmy Havoc, Will Ospreay, Pete Dunne. So they've had a lot of big names coming through there. So I say this could be a chance for a lot of the companies over here, whether bigger ones or smaller ones, to kind of get one or two wrestlers on the show and get them out there to a wider audience, which would then in turn could bring more eyes back to their product. So I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of relationship develops between WWE and other companies over here.
It's, as you say, it's very early days, but there is promise there. One of the first things that I noticed was, I don't know if it's going to be a regular thing going forward, or if it's just because they're getting some tapings under their belt, enough of a, not a catalogue, but just enough of a schedule to keep them going for a few months. But the commentary team of Vic Joseph and Nigel McGuinness, they were doing a good old-fashioned green screen, so it was one of those ones they must have commentated on the matches after the fact. Do you think would you see that as a lack of care or just logistics?
No, because remember back in the day way back when Smackdown wasn't live, I'm pretty certain Taz, I saw he was either done an interview or a podcast, that sometimes he would have to go back into the booth and he would change a few things or add things in and stuff like that. So no, and on top of that, like you say, Nigel McGuinness has got, we might have some NXT stuff where it kind of overlaps and other things, so that doesn't bother me too much. That says, I wasn't. That says, I didn't notice it, and I don't think it will bother me. No. Like I say, it's still early days. It's only the first ever episode, obviously, and we'll see where it goes. But the good thing is, obviously, we've got the NXT title, we've got the women's title, and the tag team championships, which I believe were unveiled at the weekend as well, which I actually saw a photo of them. I don't know if there was any match or anything at the weekend. I've not seen any spoilers, but the actual titles themselves I've seen, and they're kind of stunning.
They are quite nice, I have to say. The belts that they've made for even the UK belt as well, they are lovely to look at. Speaking of tag team championships, the first match, although it wasn't a tag match, it was Mark Andrews, relatively well known to WWE fans. He's very well known in Britain, as you say, Progress champ. I would say he was like a sensible choice as to the curtain jerker, and he was facing off against Joe Coffey, one half of the Coffey brothers, who made an impact at the Royal Albert Hall shows back in June or July, and the sort of embryonic or nascent tag scene that they've started there. Now, I will say, you seeing the Coffey brothers tag team be a tag team in NXT UK, it's going to be a bit weird because these guys, Coffey versus Coffey, for ICW's Zero G title, like their version of the IC title basically, and Joe Coffey's just joined up with the sort of heel faction that's in ICW, and they are facing each other at Fear and Loathing, the big ICW's big event of the year in December, which we're going to. Do you think that'll bother you? Not so much bother you, but it'll just be a bit weird seeing two completely different dynamics between the two products.
No, because you could almost kind of liken it to Triple H as this kind of cult hero when it comes to NXT, but the moment he appears on Raw or anything, he's a massive villain and he's hated.
Uh-huh.
And I know it's like you said, it's two completely different audiences, but so will for the most part, the NXT UK and ICW is a lot of people will watch both, but a lot of people won't actually be watching ICW as well. More so, a lot of people up here. Doesn't bother me. What do you know? What would be kind of cool actually, if they somehow incorporated the ICW storyline into the NXT thing. And I know they probably won't mention it by name, but if they had them splitting up, it would be kind of cool for people like ourselves and other hardcore fans of ICW, and people are well aware of it. It would be kind of cool to see that in a sense, but I don't think they will. And like I said, the opening match itself, having someone like Mark Andrews, made sense. Like I say, he's been on several different programs, promotions. A lot of people know of him. And to be honest, it was a good match. I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty decent opening. Where Coffey threw Mark Andrews into the air, and as he was coming down, turned into Power Slam, was quite impressive. So yeah, like I said, overall, I thought that was a pretty decent opening match to the actual show itself.
Yeah, it was one of those ones, what you would expect with Andrews, really evasive tactics. He could lucha, maybe not the right word, but he could wriggle his way out of a tangle of wires, no problem, and Coffey brought the power game. But even though he had that power, he needed the help of his brother Mark outside to gain the upper hand, and it was a spirited fight from Andrews, but Coffey was just too powerful, hits out with a brutal discus clothesline for the win. So it was a decent opener, but after that, the Coffeys were laying a beatdown on Andrews, and Flash Morgan Webster came out and helped Andrews. Flash Morgan had a wee bit of notoriety in WWE, but he's a big name in the UK scene. He is not my favourite. That mod biker Austin Powers gimmick. Ooh.
The man needs to get a haircut. I know that much anyway. But he was obviously, some people will be aware of him because he was in the NXT the UK tournament a few months back. Sorry. So some people would be maybe not all that aware of him, but they'll certainly, if they watched that tournament, you would have seen him. So yeah, I don't know if it's going to be a case of maybe now is the idea that are we going to see the Coffey brothers as a tag team as opposed to singles, and are we now going to see Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan as a tag team as well going forward? And obviously the next segment led to Mustache Mountain appearing and cutting a promo, and like I say, we have Mustache Mountain and Pete Dunne and obviously Unknown Dark all in the first episode. For me, it shows that they are taking it serious, and it shows that Mustache Mountain are going to be featured heavily and will be on it just about every single week or every other week. So for me, that when you look at it that and you see them coming out in the way they spoke and the promo they cut, it kind of gives you that hope that they are going to take it serious. But like WWE, that is not so much the wrestlers. It's like we are going to be treated to another brand of WWE. But let's say that promo was good. and like I said, I'm excited to see these guys every single week. I'm hoping that if they are going to be on every week or every other week, that we still get to see them in NXT over at Full Sail, like often enough as well. I'm hoping that doesn't take them away from that scene altogether as well. Say along with Pete Dunne as well.
I certainly hope so, because when Mustache Mountain came out, they came out to a big ovation.
Yep.
Some of the guys that we'll see, even you and I, will need a sort of history lesson on who some of these folk are, either whether it's an introduction or a refresher. But after the summer and fall, autumn that Mustache Mountain had, they're a huge deal in the UK. They've been all over the country, the countries. It actually took a while for the chance to die down for Trent Seven to start cutting the promo about making history a big deal for UK wrestling and all that jazz. UK whoop chants all over the place. If any of our American listeners like that football or soccer style chants where it's kind of reminiscent of football hooligan chants with UK wrestling, then I would say you're in for a treat. But the gist of what they were saying is tag team wrestling is going to be treated with respect and importance in the UK brand. So at some point in the future, as you've just said there, we'll get a tag team titles at some point. I don't know when those tapings will air, but they do have plans, and we've got the Coffees, we've got Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews and Mustache Mountain, so already there are 3 tag teams there. Maybe they'll just go down the route of a tournament at some point. The tournament's really the only way you can introduce new titles, would you agree?
Yeah, but it almost sounded like, obviously that's not the way it was meant to come across. It almost sounded like Mustache Mountain were guaranteed a title shot. It was just the way that Trent Seven ended. It was like, we want some serious competition. It was like, obviously he's talking about, because they know they are like the best in that division at the moment and how great they've been, a sort of 6 months or so. But yeah, like I say, tag team for the most part, like for a long time now, NXT have taken the tag division very, very seriously.
Uh-huh.
So obviously in the main roster it goes up and down, peaks and troughs when it comes to the tag team tag division. But like I said, I think we're having Mustache Mountain there and them coming out and cutting that kind of promo clearly suggests that everything that they do with NXT UK, they're going to be doing it, giving it 100%, going wholehearted into it, and it can only be good. And on a side note, just to let Kyle know, Tyler Bates' legs were looking mighty impressive tonight.
Tyler Bate came out with quite a funny wee line where Trent Seven was talking about Tyler Bate being the youngest UK champ, and Tyler Bate said, you'll end up being the oldest, and that got a wee chuckle from the crowd. So that was good. And in between that, there was one of those hype. Now, the words that I struggle with more than anything in the English language, vignettes. Did that sound okay?
The hype vignette.
Let's call it a hype video.
Okay.
With presumably a single star Eddie Dennis. I don't know a lot about him, to be honest, but the hype package showed that he went through the ranks with the likes of Andrews and Pete Dunne. He said he's got a lot of stories, and then he sort of just gazed down at shoegazing mode, so it was quite ambiguous and quite ominous. Maybe we'll get 1 or 2 more vignettes. I said it properly again. I'm on fire tonight. They should do a vignette about how good that is.
Congratulations, you've mastered the English language.
I took it. Where's Articulate Laurie when we need him? But maybe we'll get 1 or 2 more vignettes about him and seeing what his deal is. So after that, after the sort of tag team division advertisement promo segment, we've got another wee small vignette from Dave Mastiff. I don't know if you know much about Dave Mastiff before this, but see when there was that World of Sport New Year's Eve special at the end of 2016, he was in this sort of one-night feud with Grado. It was like a weird medieval king gimmick that he had going on, and it was quite corny, to be honest with you. It was quite hard to get into him, but when they had the Download Festival tournament this year, and his match with
the UK tournament.
The match with Joe Coffey at the Royal Albert Hall. I really like Dave Mastiff. He's got a right menace to him. He's a big fat beast of a guy.
Who's also quite agile.
He's very agile. So
almost kind of reminds you of Kevin Owens in the sense that, like, how's a guy of that size has the ability to kind of do these kind of high flying moves in a sense as well. Alex says I remember watching him in the UK tournament and was quite impressed at that point with him. And the idea of the whole match they had tonight really was just to kind of build him up, to make him look like he was going to be a legitimate threat, to make him look like he's a big deal. I said he's a big bruiser with good agility. It was just a showcase event for him, really.
Oh, aye. That was the squash match, quite literally.
Yep. So it was, like I say, that squash match and a vignette, etc. It had a purpose, and the purpose was to make him look like a huge threat to anybody in the division and someone who they could potentially push very hard.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, we like him, as is evident tonight, even though he looks like a guy that Ricky and I used to work with, who's a bit of a dick. Do you know him?
I totally forgot about that.
He's a spitting image, isn't he?
Spitting image of him. Oh, jeez, I'm not going to get that in my head, and I'm going to hate him now for that. That big dick.
So, where were we? Aye, so we like him despite his resemblance to a douchebag from our old work. His finishing move is what can only be described as a leaping cannonball. That's for someone as billed as 320 pounds. That's quite a finishing move. It looks really impressive. See, in all honesty, there's only been one episode, but see someone like him having the title around his waist, I think that's a good move. Yes.
Yep. I don't think we'll see it. I don't want to see it anytime soon. But I think it will happen at some point. Like I say, for me, the whole thing with him was we just want to showcase what such a bruiser he is. And to be honest, I think it's someone we're actually going to grow to like even more the more we get to see him every week or every other week.
Because the Cambridge crowd knew who he was, because when his music hit, there was that foreboding going on.
Yep.
That, oh shit, here we go. It was snap deadlift suplexes, snap German suplexes, drop kicks. I'm already invested in big Dave Mastiff, to be honest with you.
Yep.
So next up was a women's match. Nina Samuels, don't know much about her, but she was facing off against Toni Storm. Storm is from Australia, as we all know, but she's come out to saying that NXT UK is her home. Fans of all the fringe shows that WWE do will know who she is. She's doing really good for herself in the Mae Young Classic this year and last year. Samuels, I would say she still gave a good account of herself, took it to Storm well, but it's good stuff, decent match. I'm not sure of who exactly is the rest of the women that are in that division. I know a couple of spoilers here and there, but what were your thoughts on this match?
It was, like I said, so in terms of Mae Young Classic of this year, as I said last week, I don't know much, or I really don't, like I said, so I don't even know if she's made out the first round. I don't know where she is, because like I said, my whole plan is to watch it all next week, leading up to Evolution next week. Although I will say that my plan was to watch all the Mae Young next week, but I know Toni Storm's in the final.
Well, so do our listeners now.
Oh well, so I had it ruined for me, so I'm ruining it for you.
Oh boy.
Which is kind. And to be fair to the person that done it, they genuinely didn't realise, and they were genuinely sorry for it. But yeah, like I said, it was a decent little match. I'm really hoping, and I'm not going to get my hopes up, that we get to see Piper Niven.
I don't see it happening.
I don't see it happening either, but I would love to see that. I would also love to see Session Moth.
Oh, yes.
Most definitely. But like I say, Piper Niven would be like, that would be huge because everybody in the UK knows who she is. And she's also really, really good. And like I say, someone of her size as well, she's unbelievably impressive in the ring.
See, it's quite disappointing because Piper Niven, I don't know what the actual contract situation is because the people who are on this World of Sport, they have nothing to do with ICW, the UK NXT, so it's as if they've been signing each other up and snapping them up. I'm not sure why she didn't want to go back to even the Mae Young Classic. It would have been good to see Piper Niven again. And another missed opportunity for me is actually Viper's opponent at Fear and Loathing in December, Kaylee Ray. It's going to be a Queen of Insanity match, so that's like ICW's Super Duper Death match. So that'll be quite good to see what they can do with that gimmick. But as you say, quite gutted that Viper's not involved, definitely.
Well, I mean, like I say, it's only been one episode. She may appear.
She might.
And obviously, we've not got the NXT UK Women's match on Evolution next week?
I'm not sure.
I may have made that up then. I thought that was going to happen next week. May have made that up.
There might be a match on, but I don't think it's the tournament final. But what was it? I'm not sure. See, because they've taped so much of this UK stuff, I'm not sure how they're going to fit in with Evolution, if at all. Maybe we'll see quite a few of them in the Women's Battle Royal that they're going to have. You still with us? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm pretty certain this is the NXT UK match next week. So whether, like I says, whether it's a title match or it's a tournament, I'm not entirely sure.
Maybe it's a defence. What I like about Toni Storm is she's been on the Indies for a long time. She's up there with Viper. She's very polished in the ring. Because you see a lot of the ones who aren't sort of quote-unquote main roster ready and they're still a wee bit fresh, sort of raw. But Toni Storm's very polished and she's also got a great snap suplex and she's got a sort of an air raid siren shoulder breaker as her finishing move, Storm Zero.
Yeah, that's quite impressive actually.
I'm pretty sure someone does that in New Japan. Maybe Okada actually. So
see, the thing is, she's only like very early 20s as well. Mm-hmm. But does it bother you that is she Australian or is she from New Zealand?
Australian.
So does it bother you that she's in the NXT UK?
Not so much that.
Or would you rather it was just all UK only?
I don't know, because look at the folk who won the European Championship back in the day. You've had Rusev as the United States champion. All this is always interchangeable, so it doesn't bother me too much. She has made a name for herself in UK. She's very prevalent in the UK scene. I'm just more annoyed that the likes of Viper and Kaylee Ray aren't in NXT rather than having Toni Storm in instead, if that makes sense. I'm fine with Toni Storm. I'm not as up on her as other people are, but I still really enjoy her. I like her work.
And I suppose the thing with Toni Storm is I think she's been over here for like, I think she was mid-teens maybe. Mid to late teens anyway, so she's been over here for a good few years. And I said I'm not entirely sure like how long it is again. Not how long she's actually lived over here, but I guess that if anyone does have an issue with that, it's not like they've just plucked someone out of thin air or someone else. At least she actually lives and resides in the UK and has done for a number of years. I said I don't think it bothers me that much, if I'm honest with you, either. Because what you just gave the example as, you know, we had people when we had the European title, we had non-European guys winning it. for crying out loud, just a few weeks back we had Ricochet in a UK title match, so
Yep.
you know, we can't really be too annoyed about it, if I'm honest.
Dunn's faced off against Adam Cole.
For the North American title, so...
And vice versa. And Drew.
And so did Wolfgang as well, did it not?
Yeah, that was a pants match. What was I going to say? Gargano as well as Roderick Strong, they've challenged for the UK title, so it happens. And if we're going to be technical about it, Jordan Devlin's been in this tournament. He's not from Northern Ireland, he's from...
Yep, south of that border.
He lives next door to Finn Balor, so... it doesn't bother me too much, to be honest.
No.
Because there's Travis Banks as well. He's a New Zealander, a Kiwi.
Yep.
Again, a big deal in Progress. I'll need to get into this Progress because it's got a lot of big names in it. But
and like we said earlier on the show, a lot of big names have been in it as well. Like everybody knows who Marty Scurll is, and everyone knows who Ospreay is.
Yep.
Pete Dunne, so they were all involved in Progress.
Jimmy Havoc's making a name for himself in the Indies just now.
Yep. Yep. Going to say something, but I'll just leave it.
Okay. Right, so main event time. This is a Scotland versus England affair. Pete Dunne versus Noam Dar.
Yep, and on this occasion I was going for England. Fuck Noam Dar.
Well, so was I. I was rooting for England. I can't believe I'm saying that out loud. And for our English listeners, I apologise, but it's Scotland versus England. You can understand
Yep.
our angst about this.
Bias, exactly. We're patriotic people. Are we fuck? No, I was just writing notes down as the match was going on. Like both guys, even at the start of the match, with the announcements and they were making an entrance, both guys were just super over.
Oh, big time.
Pete Dunne taking his jacket off and just as the match starts and throws it at Noam Dar as well. It was really hard hitting, as you'd come to expect from just about most of Pete Dunne's matches. There was that moment where Pete Dunne kind of crawled out of the ring underneath the ring rope. It was almost like, from a couple of attacks from Noam Dar, it was almost like he was showing a little bit of vulnerability. He was backing away, but then Noam Dar hit the release fisherman suplex on the edge of the on the ring. That was unbelievable. Last 5 minutes of the match, it was just kind of, it was really frenetic, a real high pace. I thought Pete Dunne was about to tap out when Noam Dar had him in that ankle lock knee bar time.
Because see that, see if something like that, you could not avoid a spoiler if that had happened, if Dunne had lost the UK title. But you know you're watching a good match when a match that's already been recorded weeks ago now, there's a moment you're thinking, shit, Dunne's about to lose that right now. Like, he was millimetres away from tapping.
Yep.
That was excellent. So the fact that there's a drama there of something that you realistically know the outcome of, it was excellent. Well, as you say, the last 5-10 minutes were just frenetic as fuck. It was excellent.
And like you said, here's the thing, like, maybe if Pete Dunne did lose the title, it would have been all over wrestling Twitter. But I managed to somehow avoid the spoilers from Tommaso Ciampa and Aleister Black. Mm-hmm. So for me, going into it, like, Pete Dunne could have dropped his title and I don't know anything about it. And I would have just been, just by hook and by crook, just by absolute luck, I would have avoided the spoilers, just like I did with Ciampa and Black. I just never came across a single spoiler. Even though I'm sure it would have been all over Twitter. I didn't go looking for it either. Pete Dunne's finisher, the bitter end, I really like that as well.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, like I say, Pete Dunne's probably going to be kind of the face. He's going to be constantly front and centre of this entire UK division, and that's excellent because Pete Dunne as a wrestler is unbelievable. He's really, really over with the crowd.
He's a star. He
really is. He's an absolute superstar, and we actually get to see him like every week or every other week now as well, and being heavily featured. Mm-hmm. The match itself was a real good match. As soon as it's finished, because I was in the middle of texting, messaging rants, and I was like, look, you need to watch that match because it was a pretty good match. It was a good 15 minutes it went on for, I think.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it was top notch. It started off a wee bit of tomfoolery, where they've got this pinky party thing, but then the pinky became the focus of Dunn trying to snap the fingers and stuff like that. So it played into it. Two takeaways for me from the match. I know that previously Jeremy Donovan from Keepin It Strong Style, he's not been too impressed with that match tonight. It wasn't Dunn's best match that I've seen, but it was probably Dar's best match. Would you agree?
And I know that for a long time that you weren't too enamoured with Dar. Like, I wouldn't say you didn't like him or anything, but I remember when he first debuted and he was there, I remember talking to you, and I think your actual quote was, he's not even one of the better ones on the show. I think at the Cruiserweight Classic.
Right.
I enjoyed the match. It's obviously not the last Pete Dunne match I watched was a couple of weeks ago when it was against Ricochet, and obviously you can't compare it. It's just not on the same level. But for closing the show in the first NXT UK taping, it was a solid match.
Definitely.
But we missed before, in between the women's match and Pete Dunne Noam Dar, they announced Tyler Bate versus Wolfgang.
I missed that entirely.
Well, for anyone obviously that says, if you don't know, Wolfgang, he's been an IC dub. He faced Adam Cole what was it? Was it back in June or July?
Yep.
He's also been on a challenge. He faced Pete Dunne in NXT as well. And he obviously had that little run-in we had that run-in with Undisputed Era on NXT, so he's kind of quite well known as well. I think a lot of American fans would have seen him at some point, and obviously we all know about Tyler Bate, so they announced that match for next week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say already there's a decent amount of name power involved. I don't think it's going to take long for international audiences to warm to the characters, because some of them they're already familiar with anyway. Definitely,
and like I said, for an opening episode, like, I've already seen a couple of people on Twitter saying like it didn't really stand out from 205 or NXT or anything, but was it ever going to? It's like it still falls under the NXT umbrella, so it was always going to still kind of come across the way NXT does, and to me it was. I thought it was a pretty good opening show. We managed to get we got 4 matches in there. We got a couple of vignettes as well. I thought it was a real good solid start.
I wasn't looking for it to stand out from the rest of them. It's got the NXT name on it. It's got some of those guys that have made an impact on NXT, the tournaments for us, ICW. Mm-hmm. So it's just a case of seeing all these fresh faces, new characters, new tournaments, new titles. Suits our time zone. It's got a lot going for it for me personally.
And like I said, it's a show. Its target audience is clearly and undeniably us. Mm-hmm. It's not built for anybody else. Well, it kind of is. Obviously, all wrestling's for everyone. But like I say, the target audience is us over here. And for anyone outside. For anyone sort of bitching and complaining about it, like you're getting to see people that you A, may not have seen before, and B, you've seen very rarely. Because I can't imagine too many of our American friends to have seen much of, say, Dave Mastiff.
True.
I'm not entirely sure how much they may know about someone like Toni Storm. I'm assuming they probably know a bit about her.
Why?
The Coffey Brothers as well. You know, like, so and next week it'll be Wolfgang. Who knows who else? There might be other guys that we're familiar with, but people outside the UK are not. And you get in when people talk about the UK scene, well, you're going to get a little glimpse of what we're always talking about and what people are always referring to, but you get to see it every single week. So why you would want it to look any different from why you thought it would look any different from like NXT or whatever. Like, it's just another extension of NXT. You know, if it was going to be something completely different, might have given it a different name or a different kind of feel to it. Like I say, if it's something comes across as kind of the exact same as NXT, how on earth is that a bad thing? Because NXT is so great.
No issues with it at all. I've got a couple of questions for you to wrap up this Insta review, as I'm calling it.
Just before we get into questions, what I'll say, right, for me, when that finished, obviously we were going to start doing a podcast. When it finished, I immediately started going like, I'm really looking forward to next week now.
Well, that was going to be one of the questions,
okay.
But I'll keep that. I'll keep that for a minute. Oh, where have I put it? See, Pete Dunne, right? Pete Dunne. He's come under not him specifically, but there's been a bit of criticism levied his way because he's recently passed the 500 days as a champion now. And you and I were pretty vocal about Brock's reign being so long and not really defending it that often. Do you think Dunne has had a good run as a UK champ? Is it different from Lesnar?
The very first thing, right? It's different from Lesnar's, right? Because the match quality has been better. So I know a lot of people, and that says you'll never ever hear me saying a negative word about the New Japan product because I don't watch it often enough to have a serious opinion. But a lot of people were saying, what's the difference between Okada's reign and Lesnar's reign? In the face of it, I could sit here and be like, absolutely nothing. Okada defended it X amount of times in X amount of days, and Lesnar done this and blah blah blah. But people who watch probably both of it will turn around and tell you Okada's title matches were far superior to Brock's, and on top of that, you would still see him like every other week or every week wrestling. So when it comes to this, for me, the match quality's been better, and B, and just probably more importantly, one title is like meant to be the most prestigious title in professional wrestling, and the other ones, it was a title that was just created like a few years back, two and a bit years ago maybe. So I don't understand how people can sit and compare the both of them when, like I say, one of them is supposed to be like the main title for the biggest company in professional wrestling, i.e. like what some people would say, like that's like the most prestigious title, maybe not prestigious, but that's the number one title in professional wrestling. And if you go by the analogy that it's the WWE, the biggest company, and therefore if you hold that title, it's seen as like the biggest title in wrestling. I'm not saying it is or anything like that. I'm not trying to say like the IWGP doesn't have a claim to be or anything like that, but like if you go by that analogy, then that's what it is. But so for me, I don't think you can compare the both. And like it says, it's not even like Pete Dunne was always on NXT. It's not like Pete Dunne had a contract with the WWE. It's not like Pete Dunne had a division to continually compete in. He was given a title that was just created, and he would defend it now and then. But it's not like it's not like he was under the WWE or NXT umbrella anyway.
That's true. That's fair enough.
So,
I just wanted your opinion on that.
No, I don't. I can understand why someone might say that, but on the face of it, then fine, sure. But you can't just come to a conclusion just based on the face of things. You've actually got to delve into things and look at it properly and go into the details.
Yep. Okay. I feel the same, so I've not got much to add there. Other question was things to take away from this debut episode. As early days, apart from the ones that we know, like Moustache Mountain and Dunne, well, he's kind of part of the Moustache Mountain, he's the British Strong Style faction. Any stars from the first episode, do you think, so going forward, but we saw any superstars tonight?
Superstars are a bit of a stretch at the moment. Dave Mastiff, like we says, was presented in a way that clearly suggested that they thought a lot of him.
Mm-hmm. I would agree.
Tony Storm as well, with her involvement in the Mae Young, and now in NXT UK, she clearly they think highly of her. Yeah, so, and then, like I said, next week we're going to get to see Tyler Bate wrestle. I mean, for crying out loud, the first 2 weeks of the NXT UK programme, we saw Pete Dunne, and now we're going to get to see Tyler Bate in consecutive weeks.
Mm-hmm. It's quite exciting. I would say
it really is. It really is.
I would say actually that most of the people that were featured tonight did come across as, not as you say, star's quite a strong word, but a key player in the brand. I don't know so much about Sid Scala, who was the poor unfortunate soul that was standing opposite Dave Mastiff. I mean, Mastiff threw Scala about like a wet wank sock, to be honest with you. And Nina, you can tell that there's no mothers-in-law in the adjacent room this week, can't you guys? Because I can swear whenever I want fuck bum dicks.
Yep, because you were a little bitch last week that didn't want to swear, kept it PG.
Well, this week's it's rated R for really sweary show. Fuck off. Nina Samuels, although she was booked relatively strongly, she gave it as good as she got, but I think it was done well. I wonder who's in charge of the booking and stuff like that.
I wonder how much...
If it is Chips.
That's what I was going to say. I wonder just how hands-on he is with this.
Because it'll be a taping, so he probably comes over for them.
Yep. Because he was here at the weekend. He was here at the weekend, so... like I say, for me... And like you say, you were going to ask me, but like I say, when it concluded, I was ready for the next episode.
Aye, that's what I was going to ask. Was, are you looking forward to next week? Basically.
Yep, most definitely. And if people outside the UK are not, I could kind of understand it. I think the excitement for me is the fact that we get to watch wrestling at a decent time, and like I say, it's a lot of guys and women that we know that are being exposed and are on the WWE network now, and people outside the UK will actually get to see them. And I think another good thing is you kind of have that hope that builds up a little bit more that we might actually get a pay-per-view over here. Like I say, man, I would love it if they started doing NXT UK takeovers. I think they would be such a hit.
Oh, that's one of the takeaways that I had from this week was, see, because it's got that WWE name attached to it, or even more so the NXT name, the crowd are going to be hot most, if not all of the time, because the crowd for Cambridge tonight were okay at the start, but when Trent Seven and Tyler Bate came down, the place was rocking. Tony Storm came out, the place was rocking. Pete Dunne and Noam Dar had dueling chants. That's just one city. They're going to Plymouth, I think it was Birmingham in between there. It's going to be hot all the time, so even if it's one of those ones where the product itself isn't top notch, the crowd will bring you into it. Which is why, by the way, I think it's important that crowd reaction helps mould a show. So no more shit chants, guys.
Yep, I agree with that completely. I really do. Because like I said, the wrestling itself was fine, but like you said, you can go through a kind of bang average wrestling match, but see if the crowd pull you into it, the live crowd pull you into it, it helps so much, and it can work the opposite way as well. If you're watching a match that you're enjoying, but the crowd are shitting on it, you kind of by nature are kind of, I can't really get into this match now. I can't even focus on what's going on in the ring because of the amount of nonsense that's going on in the crowd. But it says overall, every single week you are going to see that kind of hot crowd, and it's different from the Full Sail crowds as well.
It reminded me, what you were just saying there reminded me of the Invasion pay-per-view, but it was Nick Patrick versus Earl Hebner. You could easily say that is the worst match of professional wrestling there has ever been, but the crowd were fucking pumped for that, and it was a very entertaining 5-10 minutes or so.
Like it says for tonight, it was crowd were into it, and we got a couple of real good matches. Like it says overall, I thought it was a real good show.
For anyone who's not watched it yet, I can safely say that all the matches tonight were better than the WWF versus WCW referee match from Invasion. Just in case you were a bit panicked.
Yep, we're building up for you folk.
It's fucking shite. Anything else you want to touch on, or will we go down the route of some SmackDown 1000 chat?
We'll touch on Raw as well. A couple of things happened on Raw that we need to talk about. No, like I say, just looking forward to doing it next week now as well.
Yep. Will we try and cover it next week?
My intention is to watch it, so I can take the lead on it every week.
Okay, well, I'm up for that. I'm just hoping that the fans listen to me. Fucking hell. The listeners take on board that we might not be able to live up to our promises. Because, breaking news, folks, this is roughly around the time we're supposed to be doing the quarterly review of 205 Live, but I don't know when I'm going to fit it in at the moment, so it's postponed. I was hoping to get Sir Sam on. I don't think I'll get it done soon. Apologies to all involved, any 205 fans, but I'll get this cheeky plug out the way just now. You can find the top 10 cruiserweights of 205 Live's almost 100 episodes on lordsofpain.net. That's that plugged in. But let's try and cover... I mean, we've got the Evolution preview next week, so we don't have to spend a whole episode talking about the UK stuff. But we'll definitely touch on it. I'm happy to do so, as it suits our recording time and whatnot. So, what did you enjoy from Raw this week? Just bullet points.
What did I enjoy from Raw? Just trying to think back to it. You know, so I don't think it took place on Raw. I think it got announced on Twitter that they're doing a women's battle royal at Evolution.
Uh-huh.
I like that. I said here, I want to say it was a week when Ranch was on with us. I think it was not long after Evolution was announced, or we were just talking about it one week. I'm all on board for that. Partly because, like we all have that one type of match that we love, and mine is like a battle royal / Royal Rumble.
Yeah, over the top rope elimination number.
Yes, and I can understand, like don't get me wrong, someone like Asuka, she could, or should, have a storyline leading into this, and she should be treated like a bigger star than she actually has been. Just pushing all that to aside, like, see, at the end of the day, you can't expect them to have every single woman on the card having like singles matches. Like, that's just crazy. Or having multi-women matches. Like, you're looking at like 13, 14, 15 matches alone. So you put them in a battle royal. I don't mind it because I say it's my favourite, but the best thing about that is the winner of the battle royal actually gets a title shot.
Right.
And I'm hoping that NXT women are in that as well, because I think that would be such a great wrinkle, and that would be awesome to see. Because that's my problem with the two battle royals that they have at the WrestleMania, that after a couple of weeks, who gives a fuck? Like, no one remembers shit, no one cares. Like, there's no real incentive to win it, but now they've got an incentive to win this, and you get a title shot. Because like I said, you could potentially have someone like Asuka winning it, and then suddenly we go from Becky Lynch to Charlotte to then going from, say, Becky Lynch to Asuka. Or, it could, an NXT woman could win it, and therefore we get, I would probably say Kairi Sane, because I expect her to beat Shayna next week, moving on to someone else. So like I said, the fact that they've given it an actual incentive to win the match is what makes me happy about it.
Well, how about some fantasy booking for you then? What if Shayna Baszler loses the NXT title in one of the first matches of the card, but she's in the Battle Royal and she wins, and she comes up to Raw and challenges Rousey? Well, you've got Survivor Series, so they'll probably do a Rousey versus either Becky or Charlotte. And they're not going to pull the trigger on Rousey and Charlotte at Survivor Series. So there's an early prediction for you folks. Becky will retain at Evolution.
Yeah, I think Becky retains as well, but we'll talk about it next week. I don't think you're going to do Shayna Rousey straight out the gate. No way. Because you could build that and make it... That's like next year's SummerSlam match.
Right.
Providing you get Shayna up soon enough and you build her up that way, but... Because that story is worthy of like a WrestleMania Royal Rumble, like one of the big four.
I would say so.
Shayna's fucking awesome.
She's
and like I said, you've got the whole background of those two being in the MMA 4 Horsewomen, etc., etc. Yeah, like I wouldn't rush that if I'm honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I really wouldn't. Like I said, you've got people like Bianca or Lacey, maybe from NXT. Like you said, you've got the added potential maybe if Shayna appears, if she loses it, appearing in the Battle Royal as well. I think I need to find the announcement, because it looks like it was just all Smackdown women who was announced in the Battle Royal.
I'm not too sure about the announcement, if I'm honest.
I'll find it if you want to.
Well, you're saying about some people think that Asuka being in the Battle Royal is a bit of a step down. You could say it is, but she could end up winning the Battle Royal anyway. However,
exactly.
See, if we had Asuka at the top at the moment, then we wouldn't have Becky at the top. So, like, and a lot of fans are very happy with what's going on with Becky Lynch at the moment, even though she fucking insulted Adam Copeland this week on Smackdown, which was a disgrace.
Can get over it. And that's the thing, like I said, we always talk about how we want X, Y and Z to be in a main event or being a champion, but not everyone can be. So, and like you say, if we had Asuka there, we might have not gotten this Becky Lynch.
Mm-hmm.
But
are you chopping up a body back there?
Sorry?
Are you chopping up a body back there?
No, I think someone's in the kitchen. I can't find this damn tweet.
Well, in the meantime, one of the breakout things for me that happened in Raw was Drew McIntyre seems to have severed ties with at least Braun Strowman. Not sure yet about Dolph Ziggler, but it was a good week for Drew McIntyre.
Right, put it this right. Drew McIntyre, and I'm not being biased here because he's Scottish and we're Scottish, right? Drew McIntyre is the fucking superstar of that trio.
Mm-hmm.
And he is going to put that big bitch Braun down. He's going over. He'll slay that beast, that monster. Drew is a future Universal Champ. Drew will win it, I think, at some point next year, potentially around about SummerSlam time. Drew McIntyre is the fucking superstar of that group. He really is in my mind.
Mm-hmm. But we were not saying that about 7-8 years ago.
We were, but he's different. He's different.
I'll give you that. He is different now.
He's so different. He's so much better now as well. And he could be like your monster heel if you want him, but he could also play that babyface role. I think he's much better heel just purely because of his size and stuff.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, man, he's the star of that group.
What I liked about it was a lot of the focus has been on the Shield for the last wee while, and I would say the Shield versus Dogs of War thing's been going on just a bit too long now. But although the Shield had their sort of differences again this week, Dean's very insecure at the moment. It's going to be gutting to see whatever happens there. I was thinking that maybe it might even be Roman at turns heel, but I don't know. Maybe that was just a thought. But the focus was more on the Dogs of War when Raw closed, so it's quite interesting to see what's going to happen with Drew Mac and Dozig. Did you like that one, Dozig?
No, brilliant.
Oh, fuck you.
Nah, that Braun versus Drew feud could be real good as well.
Mm-hmm.
It could be really, really good, but like I said, Drew McIntyre is the man. He really, for me, there's just no doubt about it. Braun's great. Like, don't get me wrong. It sounds like I'm being critical of Braun. Braun's great. I think Braun's excellent, but he ain't no fucking. He get nothing on Drew McIntyre.
Oh, big claims there.
I think like I said, I think Drew is just fucking sensational.
Even that accent?
The accent doesn't bother me. He is. The thing is, like, at least, like, Braun's voice just isn't even scary. Right, so here we go, so I'm going back.
You found it, finally?
Finally! No, WWE tweets some amount of shite. Right, so here we go. The field so far: Tamina, Billie Kay, Peyton Royce, Ember Moon, there's a Raw one. Tamina was there as well. So here we go. Alicia Fox, Nia, Dana Brooke, Asuka, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, Carmella, Lana, Naomi, and Tori Wilson. So that's what, is that 1, 2, is that 12? 4?
Oh, Tori Wilson.
So that's 14. I'd maybe imagine a couple more to be added to that.
Probably.
And because there's obviously no Bayley, no Sasha, no Natalia. So unless they're going to have like a match with
Riot Squad.
Yes. Kind of hoping they don't, to be honest. But yeah, we've got those 14. Like I said, we could potentially be looking at some NXT women as well.
Are you not a fan of Riot Squad?
I mean, I'm just like Sasha and Bayley have been there as well, though, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm quite eager to see Sasha or Bayley or someone like that taking on Ronda Rousey. Like I said, I can wait, maybe if that's, like I says, for Royal Rumble time, maybe.
Yeah, I know the story makes sense, but I would rather it was anyone but the Bellas that was facing off with Rousey.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Nikki Bella, but I ain't going to sit here and turn around and be like, she's absolute terrible in the ring. Like, she's not good. I'm not singing her praises or anything like that, but at least unlike her sister, she actually like worked. I don't want to say she worked harder or anything like that, but she actually got better in the ring. Now, I'm not saying that she went from basically being absolutely terrible to just being bang average or whatever, but she still improved and she still actually put on some decent matching. Like I said, she actually did get better. So like I said last week, I take my hat off to her in that sense. I'm just not a fan.
It's not even the quality of her wrestling. Ronda Rousey actually spoke some truth when she said that they just leached off their husband's moves and plagiarised and devalued. I can't remember the exact words she used, but
right. I'll take offence to that.
Hold on a wee minute.
Go ahead.
The Bella thing, as I say, it's not about how good she is as a wrestler. She had a match at WrestleMania last year which had maybe a month or so feud, which Miz and Maurice carried every single week in SmackDown while the other two were hardly there. And Miz and Maurice got buried like fuck just so Bella could be proposed to for a stupid programme. A whole feud that took up a lot of the airtime in SmackDown just to feed her ego. The gall of Nikki Bella and John Cena.
Here's the thing, right? First of all, WWE clearly overestimates just how popular Bellas are, right? But Brie Bella is the one that does all the fucking yes chants and the yes kicks and this and this and that. Nikki Bella, from what I've remembered and what I've seen, what is it that she stole from Cena?
She stole from Cena the ability to bury half the roster.
Right, but I think we also need to remember at the same time, I'm not trying to sing her praises. I know they were around at the same time as AJ Lee, but Nikki Bella still, like I said, she still played a part. As much as we don't want to admit it and we don't like it, she still played a part in the diva thing. And I'm not going to say she was main part of the revolution or nothing like that, but when the competition wasn't as great, she still put on some decent matches.
The matches with Charlotte were good.
I'm not a fan, but at the same time, I'm not the kind of person that's just going to shit on somebody or something just because I don't like them. And I actually have the ability to speak the truth and tell you what I see, but I don't need to like the person. So for me, like a lot of the things, it just comes down to like the whole eyeball test. what I saw from years ago from Nikki Bella to what I saw, like, say, 2 or 3 years ago, she was clearly better. She clearly got better. That you can't deny that. And I'm not saying she improved leaps and bounds, but she did get better. I said I'm not a fan of the match at Evolution. I'm really not.
There will be shenanigans aplenty.
I kind of wasn't even a fan of what we had Ronda Rousey say about Nikki Bella, if I'm honest.
I didn't really didn't care.
I know I can understand people not really caring. Like, you could have gone a different route. And to be honest, Vince McMahon's probably sitting there saying, "All right, well, people are turning around saying that Nikki Bella is in this position because she's been fucking John Cena or whatever. Oh well, Ronda, just say that and we'll just have a joke and laugh at the fans' expense." I could honestly see Vince sitting there just saying, "Let's just troll them."
That was him lumbering up for his 7-second dance break.
Yeah, that's fucking horrendous. We'll touch on Vince McMahon in a minute when we get to Smackdown. But I don't like Nikki Bella. I really don't. I don't want to see her in this spot. I really don't.
Well, hopefully she's gone after this.
And like I said, but it kind of comes back. She will be gone. But at the same time, she's come back, and you know what? Fine, she's been on Raw every week. She's not one of these people who've been part-time and just come back and appeared now and then. She might have come back for a payday. She'll probably come back to promote something or whatever, but at least she's been there every fucking week.
Okay. Fuck you and your logic, okay? I know, but this is still for... I mean, is Total Bellas at the start of a new season, by chance?
Oh, don't get me wrong, like, I can't get on board with the match at all. Like, I will openly admit I don't want to see the match, but I'm excited to see it because I'm always excited to see what Ronda looks like from match to match. That's where my excitement for that match comes from.
Well, hopefully...
And my excitement for Evolution is building and building because there's about 5 awesome matches on that card so far.
Mm-hmm. It's turning into quite the card, to be fair.
It really is, and people can shit all over it if they want, but again, that's just people looking for negativity and not actually trying to look for the positive thing, because this card is, like, it's not stacked, but it's getting that way. The only issue has been is a lot of things that's happened with Saudi Arabia thing in the Superstar Showdown is if they've just not promoted Evolution enough, and that's a legitimate gripe, I think. They've just not promoted it enough, but yeah, I imagine maybe the promotion might go into overdrive now. But like I said, promotion-wise, it's not been that great.
It's not. What was I going to say? Becky Lynch with her segment on Tuesday night there, SmackDown 1000. This is probably the match that most people are looking forward to the most at Evolution, Becky Lynch and Charlotte. Hello. I'm just going to talk while Ricky's unavailable at the moment. We've got Charlotte and Becky Lynch. Charlotte she came down during the Cutting Edge segment last week. Here comes Ricky again. Whatever I said, I didn't mean it.
That's alright.
I was saying that Charlotte and Becky is probably the one that most are looking forward to for Evolution.
I don't know, actually.
Not for you?
Oh, like, I am really looking forward to it, but is it the match? I'm really looking forward to Shayna Baszler's match, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I really am. The Mae Young like, I can't really pick one. Like, I think there's those 5 matches that I'm really excited about, and I'm really excited about this first ever WWE Last Woman Standing match.
First ever?
You want me to tell you why it is the first ever?
No, it's okay. I'm just being a dick.
Oh, I'll explain it to some people who don't want to admit that it isn't. The NXT and WWE kayfabe wise, they don't acknowledge whatever happened. Like, kind of the first ever's in NXT. It's a cover on the main roster. Now, I don't know if that's what it was presented as, but clearly it's the first ever on the main roster. Well, we know it's not the first ever under the WWE umbrella, but on the main roster it is.
Well, technically,
but I was just kind of trying to get a reaction out of you there, as I normally do.
I know, fucking. But it technically will be the first Last Woman Standing match, because what NXT had between Nikki Cross and Asuka was a last Crazy Bastard standing match.
Oh, that was just chaotic. The ending to that match was amazing as well. Asuka got up like at 9.5 and stood there and then fell back down, I think. Like, just Nikki Cross, just an absolute maniac.
She knows what they did. Did you know that?
Yeah, folks, just so you know, like 99% of people from Glasgow are like Nikki Cross, just absolute nutters.
And the general population don't have Drew McIntyre's accent. They certainly don't have fucking Roddy Piper's accent. It's Nikki Cross and Noam Dar. That's how, as you can hear at the moment, that's how most of the central western Scotland folk speak.
The way Noam Dar comes across on Twitter is the way we speak.
Aye. When he says Leo Rush is a dafty, pass it on.
Aye, is a pure dafty. Alright, mate.
Alright, mate, how's it going?
Aye, nae bad, mate, nae bad.
Aye, thanks for completely ignoring the request to have you on the show, Noam Dar. That was very...
That's why I was cheering for Pete Dunne, you fucking wank.
Oh. Well, I won't be putting any at handles in our Twitter feed for this episode. So were you wanting to go off on one about Vince?
Vince McMahon comes out, right, to a hero's fucking reception.
Oh, I know. Don't start me on that.
No. Undertaker utters the words "crown jewel" and it gets booed.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you know people are not happy. Like, Taker could probably... If Taker could throw like a bag of kittens into the river, people will cheer, but the moment they say something like the crown jewel, they get booed. That's when you know people are not happy and are pissed. But how the fuck are you going to boo that, but yet cheer Vince McMahon?
I'm not here for the... but it's Vince... It's Mr. McMahon, the character.
Oh, get the fuck... Because... It's Undertaker, the character, you fucking idiots.
No,
as well.
It's not that. It's the... They're happy to be smarky when they're booing someone else, like Roman Reigns when he's doing something or whatever. But Vince McMahon comes out, oh, let's cheer.
Exactly. You want to fucking make a point of not wanting to go to Saudi Arabia or how you feel about the whole Saudi Arabia. That was your moment to boo Vince or shit all over the Saudi Arabia thing. But what the fuck did you do? You got your dicks out and started having a wank. Like, unfucking believable, man. Utter fucking nonsense. It really is. Yeah. It really is.
Because they booed Roman Reigns the night after he beat Undertaker at WrestleMania. Booed him for 10-15 minutes. And then Roman cut the promo of the year.
No,
he fucking did not.
Yes, he did.
And then Vince McMahon comes out and they all start cheering.
And I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, no, well, they do kind of boo Vince. I sure as hell didn't hear a fucking boo last night.
How many... His busy mate, R-Truth, dancing away.
That's what annoyed me. R-Truth is amazing. I love that man. But it is mind-boggling how you're going to cheer Vince McMahon. This is like when you're so against the Saudi Arabia event. This is a man that's making the decision to go and got in bed with them, but you're not going to fucking boo the man when he comes out on TV. And it's not like he's on TV very often. He's like, we could count on one hand the amount of times he's been on TV in the last 2 or 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And you're going to fucking cheer, oh no, it's a character. Fuck off. Kayfabe doesn't fucking exist. You don't fucking pick and choose your moments when you want to boo someone, or you don't pick and choose what you have an issue with. You either have an issue with it, or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
You have an issue with Saudi Arabia, you fucking vent that shit and boo the man that is responsible for taking the company over.
Exactly. Ricky with the fire, and
I would delve further into the Saudi Arabia thing, but I'm going to hold off for a couple of more weeks because I don't want to say something right now and regret it, because I've got things I want to say, but I need to fact check some of the things I want to say.
Mm-hmm. Oh, to be continued. I'm looking forward to that.
I mean,
no, just hold off. We'll wait until the crown jewel. If there's any...
What I will say is I don't think they should go. I'll say that.
Oh, I agree, because
I don't think they should go.
It's... You've got... Okay, there's the morals, right? Well, very quickly, just bullet point it. There's the moral argument, which could rage on for a long, long time. But there's the stock, what are they called? Stockholders? Shareholders. There's sponsors, Snickers and stuff like that. And just general PR involved.
And I know a lot of people can be like, do you know what? I might be one of them. I think I probably am one of them. I'd be like, do you know what? Just take the loss, take the hit on the money, because you send a bigger statement, a bigger message to like the loyal fan base and other people around the world, etc. But the premise of any business is to make money. Just about any business. And I know people are going to say, well, you can't talk about the women's revolution and then go to a country that doesn't even give women like the bare minimum of rights. I mean, WWE and Vince McMahon sure as hell ain't going to be the first business that lie. And it's 2018. We shouldn't be talking about women having the same rights as men. Like, that should be a fucking given. We shouldn't be. It's 2018. We shouldn't be talking about how homosexuality and transsexual, etc., transgender, etc., and how that shouldn't be accepted. It's like, it's 2018. Like, we live in a different world. Like, allow people to make their own decision and let them do what they want to do. Like, who the fuck are X, Y, and Z to turn around and tell someone they should be living this way?
Well, we'll go into more detail on that closer to the time.
Yeah, I mean, the first time, I will finish with this, the first time when I announced it, I turned around and said, I tweeted out saying, remember that time Rome was built in a day? I'm not saying you should go to Saudi Arabia, but what I will say is this before we finish up. If you expect a country or a mass of people to suddenly change centuries of ways of thinking overnight, then you're either dumb, ignorant, or just expecting too much. At the end of the day, like, if it was that easy to get someone to change their mind about something, how much did you believe in it in the first place? Like, you need to understand that it's been going on for decades, and it's not. I'm not saying I'm not trying to support it or anything like that. What the way people are treated over there is wrong. But when people have had this way of thinking for decades and decades, it's difficult to get them to come out of that immediately. It's going to take time. In fact, it'll probably take for that older generation over there to ultimately to pass on before the younger generation come through, and that's where you might start to see the change. Mm-hmm. The change isn't going to isn't going to happen overnight. It's going to take a long time. And let's say what happened with the journalist was fucking outrageous. Mm-hmm. Absolutely scandalous, but that's all I'm going to say on it right now.
I thought you were about to go off on one.
No, I'll save it because, like I say, I don't want to say something out of turn at the moment when I'm kind of hyped up a bit and say something that I shouldn't say and it turns out to be completely incorrect. So, like, a lot of people will, if you have offence to it, that's fine. It's completely understandable, and I'm one of them. I don't think you should do it, but I think a lot of people who don't throw stones. What's it saying? Don't throw stones at glass houses or something like that. For people who live in glass houses, shouldn't throw stones or something. Something like that. So there's fucking issues within this country, within other countries, that we don't seem to, that we're not all that worked up about. I don't know. Like, I've been to Saudi Arabia twice. Granted, it's more of a touristy part where I went, but I've still witnessed some of these things firsthand, and I know what I'm talking about. I know what I've saw, unlike a lot of other people. And you read things where I've actually witnessed these things.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, you were the best dressed guy there as well when you were there.
Well, we all wore those, like the toga outfit, you know. So, but I mean, I was rocking that shit.
Fuck. Right, let's hold off before it gets too serious.
Mm-hmm.
Smackdown 1000 was not as egregious or as sort of over the top and just shittily nostalgic as Raw 25 was. It was alright. We had a nice wee tag team title change, the Bar.
I cannot wait for the Bar versus the Usos.
Oh,
I know we got it last year.
I remember saying last
Survivor
year,
Series, but still,
I remember saying when we reviewed that I'm looking forward to seeing those guys lock up again because there was potential to familiarise with each other.
Yep. Yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to that. It was a good match. The Bar are excellent. I really had a lot of worry that they wouldn't ever put the titles on the Bar again, just because of what Sheamus's neck issue. Mm-hmm. And I felt like they wouldn't do it. But yeah, I'm delighted they got it. It's not going to do nothing against the New Day. I've saw the New Day with it. I've saw the New Day Usos, and I could watch a New Day Usos every day, all day, every day. But I'm really excited to potentially get the Bar versus the Usos. In terms of SmackDown not being too overly nostalgic, I was gutted that we didn't have like the big fist, the Titantron thing.
I know, so was I.
Like I say, I thought it would be more nostalgia driven like Raw 25 was, and I guess one kind of maybe argue that they cared more about Raw 25 than they did about SmackDown 1000, which kind of goes into that whole mentality. We still see Raw as the A show, etc. Yeah, it was a decent show. I mean, Undertaker earning that Brock Lesnar money, like just man comes out and says a couple of words and walks away and gets a big payday. We'd all love that.
Can I say, and I can't believe I'm saying this, Undertaker has outstayed his welcome.
He's on like that. I think this is legitimately his retirement tour.
Oh no, it fucking happened at WrestleMania 33.
No, his retirement tour. I think this is it. Because there's a lot of rumours, and again, it's just rumours, and I don't know where it came from, that apparently he's getting inducted into the Hall of Fame at next year, and then the following night will be his last match ever. But you know, we were kind of led to believe his last match ever was against Roman Reigns. Obviously, it was never said, but that's the kind of impression we were given.
So, Pete Dunne or Dave Mastiff versus Undertaker at WrestleMania.
You know what would be absolutely hilarious if I put Roman Reigns in that match and Roman win again?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. No, I think this is it. I think this is his last. This is his last tour. But Rey Mysterio went back. Rey he looked great when he was in New Japan. Looked great when he was New Japan All In. A couple of times we've seen him. He was at Royal Rumble and he looked excellent. So like I say, I'm happy to see Rey back. And like I say, I know you kind of have an issue that older guys are part-time guys, but I'm of the opinion that if they can still produce like solid matches, I'm happy to see part-timers or older guys come back as long as they're still able to produce matches.
If he's a regularly used talent, then that's fine.
Oh, he will be, because I think he's signed like a full-time
he's back
deal.
Basically. So
I'm excited for that. I don't know, some people might not be, but if that was a tease for Batista versus Triple H at WrestleMania, I can get on board for that. I like Batista. I always have.
I do too. And what he said to Triple H was excellent. And there was a moment I thought, oh, that was nice. Basically saying Triple H has never beaten me. And there was that awkward stare down. Great.
And the best thing about it was Randy Orton in the background just sort of laughing and chuckling away.
But I have to stay within my convictions and be against it because it's another part-time match. There are many other worse options for a part-time showcase match at WrestleMania. I'll grant them that. Triple H can still go in the ring. Batista doesn't have two replaced hips and all that stuff. I would say if Batista came back, it would be that's a part-timer of one of the later eras rather than the Attitude Era. So I'm not dead against it, but I'd rather they didn't do it.
And the thing is, like, Batista wants to come back, and I think he kind of wants to come back. I don't know if he wants to have I think he just wants to have one final run where he might be there for about 3, 4, 5, 6 months, but it'll be like on a full-time basis. And the unfortunate thing for him was the last time he came back, it was right in the middle of Daniel Bryan's ascension to the top, and it was unfortunate. Like, people just didn't want Batista in that spot, and it was unfortunate because I think for the most part I think a lot of people do like Batista, but it was just real bad timing that it happened during that run of Daniel Bryan. Like I says, and another thing is that I think we kind of just need to accept, maybe that some people won't accept it, but you kind of need to understand now that that's the format that I have at WrestleMania, that there's going to be that one kind of part-time guy match or kind of like a throwback-ish type match, and like you said, there could be a lot worse than Batista versus Triple H, because Triple H is still relatively solid enough in the ring. Like, he's not able to do what he could do like 10 years ago and can't go that level, but he's still solid enough in the ring where he can produce a solid match. And like I says, like, Batista's not washed, Batista's not, like he says, walking about with 2 replaced hips and whatnot, so like, it could have the makings of a decent match, and like I says, I can get on board with it, because like you said, more than anything, not more than anything, but more than anything, both guys can go, but also, it's like you said, it's not like 2 late 50-year-olds or something doing it.
That's true. Anything else you want to add before we do a quiz? Anything that stood out from SmackDown 1000?
I don't think so, if I'm honest, no.
That's fine. Will we do the quiz then?
Yeah, we could do.
Right, at this moment, there is no one else in the living room next to me, so do you want a live rendition of the quiz time?
Yes.
Right, I'll do it quickly before they come in. It's fucking quiz time with Ricky and Clive and friends. A special SmackDown themed quiz, fucking yeah.
Jeremy's going to pop for that so much.
Aye.
He really is.
So, as you guessed from the live rendition of the theme, it's a SmackDown quiz celebrating the 1,000 episodes. Right.
I mean, people didn't guess it. You told us that's what it was going to be.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm all about stating the obvious here on the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show. Number 1, from the most recent brand split, what was the first SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view called?
Oh, the brand split happened, was it like 2 weeks or something after WrestleMania, wasn't it?
Not WrestleMania, no. So we're talking 2016.
The initial. Or sorry, I thought you meant this year.
Oh, sorry, no, I meant when they did it again.
Oh right, okay, sorry. When was it? Was it not like sort of they built it up? It was like June-ish, I think it was. Was it not?
The draft episode was July 19th. I don't know why I know that, I just do. Trouble.
July 19.
So they still had SummerSlam to do. And there was Battleground around that time, but what was the first SmackDown only pay-per-view?
Backlash.
Well done. Number 2, who was the first SmackDown exclusive world champion? Back in the day. So, when the brand splits happened, who was officially the first proper main event champion?
Oh. Let me see. Kurt Angle?
Incorrect. The answer was Brock Lesnar.
Fuck.
Number 3, name 4 weddings that took place over SmackDown's 1,000 episodes. I don't know if there have only been 4, but there are 4 that I know of.
Now, was Kane and Lita, was that Raw or SmackDown?
I can tell you that was Raw.
Right, okay. Billy and Chuck.
Yes.
Thingy. Edge and... Oh, does that count? Did it even happen?
Well, I'm not counting if the actual nuptials were confirmed and all that stuff, so a ceremony took place. So,
right, so Edge and Vicky.
Uh-huh.
Oh, man. Jeez.
Are you alright?
I'm just trying to think. No, Triple H and Stephanie was obviously Raw.
It was.
Oh wait, where was it? Test and Stephanie. Where did that?
That happened on Raw.
Daniel Bryan, AJ Lee.
Raw.
Jeez, why didn't you just ask me about the Raw weddings?
Because we're not talking about Raw this night.
Edge and Lita was Raw as well.
Put your phone away. I can see.
I'm not on my phone. I can't. I don't know.
One of them was Teddy Long and Crystals, where Teddy Long had a heart attack just as I was about to say I do.
Fuck!
And the other one was Dawn Marie and Tori Wilson's dad.
Did Undertaker not pin Stephanie up in the crucifix and marry her or attempt to marry her or something as well?
That was also on Raw.
I think that was Raw though. You should have just asked me about the weddings on Raw.
But again, we're celebrating.
I know.
Number 4, Mankind was infamously thrown from the stage into a grave in a buried alive match. Name all the wrestlers in that tag team match. So you had Mankind. Who was his partner?
Oh, jeez. The Rock, was it not?
Yep, and who were they facing?
Show.
Well done, and...
Obviously Taker.
There we go,
Not obviously, it could have been Kane actually.
That's correct though. Number 5. That same year, 1999, the very last Smackdown of that millennium had The Rock defeat Mankind. What was the stipulation of that match? It was quite a big deal.
No DQ?
No. It was a... Will I tell you?
Yeah.
Pink slip on a pole match. You remember now?
Yes.
Number 6. Which wrestler's first programme, upon moving from Raw to SmackDown, saw him almost immediately win the World Heavyweight title? So,
what year was this?
2011.
The move from Raw
to SmackDown in 2011. So it was just after the draft, just after Mania. If I give you another clue, it might give it away, but this person was involved in the world title match at SummerSlam that year.
And you said what, 2011?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I know the answer to this.
Well, I'll just tell you then.
Del Rio?
Nope. The answer.
No, it was fucking. You cashed in on Punk.
The answer was Randy Orton.
This is. Well, I've got 2 out of 5 tonight.
Number 7. What was the stipulation of Jeff Hardy's last match for WWE in 1999? That's wrong. 2009 on SmackDown versus CM Punk.
We spoke about this a while back.
So it was a loser leaves town match, but what was the actual genre or whatever of the match, the gimmick?
Oh my god, we spoke about this. On that
Money in the Bank episode?
Yes.
Or Cash In episode? Available only on the Social Suplex podcast network.
Was it not the loser leaves town or something?
But what was the gimmick?
Oh, right. What do you mean the gimmick of the actual match?
Stipulate, Was it a ladder? Was it a... Last junkie?
Oh! Cage?
Yes. Number 8. Name all the women's champions since the Smackdown brand extension in 2016 onwards.
In order, or
Doesn't have to be in order. It doesn't have to be who was in reigns when. Just who have been the champions.
can you tell me how many there's been?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Becky,
1,
Carmella,
2,
Charlotte,
3,
Naomi,
4,
Natalia,
5.
was she there at this point? How long has she been on Raw? Alexa Bliss?
Correct, well done.
I just wasn't sure how long she'd been on Raw for this time.
Number 9, how long was Teddy Long the general manager of Smackdown? So, if you don't know, like, you can say the years active. Have a guess.
Alright, okay. You want the active years or just how many years in total?
How many years? Whichever one you want.
3.
Oh my god, no. It was 8 years in charge of Smackdown. 04 to...
I guess I wiped that out of my mind because it was 8 years of multi-man tag matches as your main events.
And going 1-on-1 with The Undertaker player. Number 10. Last year's Survivor Series. Smackdown versus Raw.
Mm-hmm.
Who won overall? Did Smackdown or Raw win that in terms of score? So if I tell you there were 7 matches...
Raw won it.
Can you remember the matches?
But did SmackDown win or...
Yes. What matches did Smackdown win? So
The Usos beat the Bar.
correct.
Charlotte beat Alexa Bliss.
Correct.
The
This one you'll never get.
Shield beat the New Day. The Raw main event beat them. Brock beat AJ. So that's 3 each, isn't it?
There's one more. There was a couple of other matches, but they weren't versus Raw versus SmackDown.
I can't remember now if we had a women's 5-on-5.
They did. Raw won it. Oh, I'm getting my scores mixed up.
Because that's 7 there, I've named in. They're not 5-4 then it finished.
No, I don't know. But think of the other match.
We've had the women's match, we've had the tag team, we've had the IC. Oh, jeez, who was in that? It was the US versus the IC. Who the hell was that match? Oh my goodness, who was that match?
I don't think you'll get it. It's too random for words. Did you give up?
No.
Alright, calm down.
I kind of want to say Baron Corbin was in the match.
You go ahead and say that.
I kind of want to say he won the match.
You go ahead and say that as well.
Who the fuck did he take on, though? I thought, was he ever US champ? I just made that up.
Well, no, because I basically heavily hinted at it there.
Right, give me a clue. Because...
This person that Baron Corbin beat is currently on SmackDown.
What? This person Baron Corbin beat?
Uh-huh.
But we just established Baron Corbin was in the US. Whatever.
No,
it's on SmackDown.
We
Who the hell was...
We established that Baron Corbin was a US champion.
I know, but who the hell... I can't remember his US title reign at all, to be honest.
Believe it or not, he beat AJ. Not on Survivor Series night, but...
Oh, shit, so he did. Who the hell was the IC champ at the time? Wasn't him. It wasn't the Miz. Wait, it wasn't. It was a Miz.
Yes, it was.
Oh, I remember those promos were caught. Oh, the Miz cut his promo in the back of his car or a limo or something.
Oh, that's right. And he cussed.
Yep.
I didn't count how many you got right or wrong there, but you did poorly.
I did very poorly. I think I got like 4.
You did not too badly. Could have been worse. Just as well Sir Sam wasn't here to take you on.
Yep, or anybody, to be honest.
So that concludes the episode this week. Before we go, make sure to leave a rating and review for the Social Suplex Podcast Network on the app that you choose. 5 stars, obviously. Whether it's Podbean, not YouTube, iTunes, that one, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, all that stuff. The network also has... I've hit a blank. I need to pre-record these plugs, by the way. The network...
me to do it?
Aye, you go, you do it.
You can download and listen, folks, on iTunes, Stitcher, or any other app that you use for podcasts. Please make sure you listen to Keepin It Strong Style with Jeremy and Josh, One Nation Radio with Rich and James, and Grown Men Watch This Shit. And also The Outsider's Edge, hashtag Bring Carl Back. Hopefully Carl actually might be on this week.
You might.
He might. I wonder what's going to happen first. Carl makes an appearance on Outsider's Edge, or Carl drops his column. Who knows? Also, you can find all of us on the Facebook group, the Wrestling Squared Circle. Like it says, you can subscribe to the Social Suplex Podcast Network. You can get some great content. We've got NXT reviews. It'll give you weekly emails or daily emails to these articles. And yeah, I think that's it.
Not too bad. Better than me. At Ricky and Clive on Twitter and Facebook.
Keep an eye out for our new Twitter logo coming shortly as well.
Oh.
An absolute belter from Rance. Shout out to Rance for that.
For his 2K19 skills.
Awesome.
Right, breaking news. Patrick Clark has changed his gimmick on NXT, the most recent tapings. I don't know if you were aware of this.
Good Lord, we lose listeners.
There's a face of actual anguish on your face right now. But
because people tweet us saying the jokes are shit.
Aye, but they love it.
I think they actually do, to be honest. Continue.
Right, so Patrick Clark has a new gimmick on NXT as per the new tapings. Instead of that sort of Prince thing that he's got going on just now, he's just been a very comfy, cosy guy who wears baggy jumpers, baggy sweaters, and likes to just sit by the roaring fire at night and drink some hot malt. A hot malt drink just before he sort of tucks himself into bed. Just a very cosy gimmick. Oh, it's going to be called Ovaltine Dream.
Was Ovaltine, is that not just a British thing, or?
Well, if it is, then this really will go over a lot of heads.
Well, who knows?
Night-night. Say night-night quickly.
Take care, folks.
Thank you for listening to the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Podcast. We'll see you next time.